right here is my good luck charm. It's Chihuahua Cruz. One over here, gets punched over here, gets punched over here. Same shit over and over again. Chihuahua, poodle. He kind of looks like a pug right now, so yeah, he's a little fat right now. So.
What happens when you spend months mocking a man known as Pitbull? Eventually, he bites back, and hard. March 31st, 2024, Las Vegas. Under the blinding lights and roaring crowd, Rolando Romero strutted into the ring with a grin that screamed confidence. He wasn't just the defending WBA super lightweight champion. He was the showman, the self-proclaimed king of chaos, the man who promised knockouts, drama, and a quick night's work. Across from him stood Isaac Pitbull Cruz, short, stocky, quiet, a fighter who didn't waste words because his fists did the talking. For weeks, Romero had called him names, laughed at his height, even joked that fighting Cruz would be easy work. Reporters ate it up, fans laughed, and the spotlight, as always, stayed glued to Raleigh. But underneath all the noise, Cruz's silence said more than words ever could. He wasn't coming to entertain. He was coming to make a statement, one that would echo far beyond the ring. This wasn't just a title defense. It was a clash of ego versus discipline, talk versus bite. And when the bell rang in Vegas that night, one of them was about to learn the hard way that sometimes the quietest fighter has the loudest revenge. But to understand how this moment exploded into chaos, you need to know who these two really are. Before that night in Vegas turned into a storm of fists, it's worth asking, who are these two men who collided so violently under the lights? Rolando Romero wasn't just another fighter with a belt. He was brash, unpredictable, and built his reputation on two things: knockout power and non-stop trash talk. A Las Vegas native with a 15-1 record, most of his wins came by knockout. But Raleigh's confidence didn't come from strategy. It came from swagger. Even after being brutally stopped by Gervonta "Tank" Davis, he brushed it off like it never happened. "I just got caught," he said. "I'm still the best at 140. To him, losing was temporary. Humility was optional. Isaac Pitbull Cruz was the polar opposite. A quiet warrior from Mexico City, he carried the toughness of his upbringing into every fight. He wasn't tall, he wasn't flashy, but he was relentless. His fight against Gervonta Davis, even in defeat, earned him respect worldwide. People saw something different. Someone who didn't back up, didn't flinch, and didn't care about fame. Just fighting. Their clash wasn't just physical, it was philosophical. Romero fought for attention. Cruz fought for respect. One fed off noise, the other thrived in silence. On paper, Romero had the height, reach, and the belt. But Cruz had something far more dangerous: hunger. The kind that doesn't go away until it tastes blood. And that hunger was about to meet arrogance head on, because when the gloves touched, only one man kept his promise.
Romero embraces it, and
every great fight starts long before the first bell. And this one was no different. In the weeks leading up to the bout, Rolando Romero did what he does best: talk. He called Isaac Cruz a little chihuahua, said he'd walk through him in 3 rounds, and even laughed off Cruz's power as nothing special. Cameras loved it. Social media blew up. Rolly knew how to sell a fight. But this time, his words were digging him a grave he couldn't talk his way out of. Meanwhile, Isaac Cruz stayed calm. No jokes, no trash talk, just that quiet, unblinking stare. Reporters tried to get a reaction out of him, asking if Rolly's insults bothered him. Cruz just smirked and said, "Let him talk. In the end, he'll be the one crying." That single line sent chills through boxing fans. It wasn't loud, but it was cold. As fight week arrived, the tension was electric. Face-offs turned hostile. Rolly kept grinning, throwing out insults. Cruz didn't flinch. You could tell. One man was performing, the other was plotting. Odds makers still favored Romero. After all, he was the bigger man, the champion, the puncher. Cruz, he was the underdog who'd already come up short against Gervonta Davis. But what the world didn't realize was that Cruz had been waiting for this. Another chance to prove he wasn't just Tank's opponent. He was a monster in his own right. By the time the two stepped into the ring, the energy in Las Vegas felt different. There was something in the air, a quiet tension that made even Romero's smile look nervous. And when the bell rang, that silence turned into chaos.
Only Romero embraces it, and every story needs.
The first bell rang, and instantly you could feel it. The energy changed. The crowd's cheers turned into gasps as Isaac, Pitbull, Cruz charged forward like a man possessed. No hesitation, no testing the waters, just raw, relentless pressure. Within seconds, Romero was on the back foot, his trademark grin fading as he tried to circle away. Cruz wasn't giving him an inch. Every punch had bad intentions, heavy hooks, crushing body shots, the kind that make a fighter question every boast they ever made. Then came the first warning shot. Late in round one, Cruz connected with a looping left hook that sent Romero stumbling backward, his legs buckling. The arena erupted. Rolly somehow stayed up, but the look in his eyes told the story. For the first time that night, he realized this wasn't a show. It was survival. Romero tried to recover in round two, trading shots, trying to establish his jab. And for a brief moment, he found success, catching Cruz with a clean counter that reminded everyone why he was still dangerous. But Cruz didn't flinch. He took the shot, smiled, and kept marching forward like nothing happened. By round three, the tide was unmistakable. Cruz's pressure was suffocating. Romero couldn't keep him off. Every time Rolly threw, Cruz was already inside, firing back with brutal combinations. The sound of his punches echoed through the arena, short, thudding, and mean. Fans who had come expecting an easy night for Romero were now on their feet. The underdog wasn't just holding his own, he was taking over. And as the bell rang to end the third round, Romero walked back to his corner breathing heavy, his face swollen, his eyes darting. The showman was fading, and the fighter inside him was running out of ideas. But what came next would push him past his breaking point. By round four, the fight had turned into something brutal, a test of willpower more than skill. Romero wasn't just losing rounds, he was losing control. Every time he tried to clinch, Cruz ripped free and answered with thunderous hooks to the ribs. Every second inside the ropes felt like an ambush. Raleigh's corner screamed instructions, begging him to use his jab, to move, to stay calm. But there was no space, no rhythm, no time to breathe. Cruz kept coming, step by step, cutting off the ring like a predator stalking its prey. The Pitbull had caught the scent, and he wasn't letting go. Midway through the fight, Romero started to resort to desperate tactics. He grabbed, he held, anything to slow the storm. The referee warned him once, then again, and finally took a point for excessive holding. The crowd roared, sensing the momentum shift from frustration to domination. Cruz didn't let up. His combinations started landing clean, each one snapping Raleigh's head back with precision. Left hook to the body, right hand upstairs, over and over, like a rhythm he'd practiced his whole life. Romero tried to fire back, but his punches had lost their sting. His legs looked heavy, his confidence gone. By round 6, the champion looked like a man drowning. His arms dropped, his breathing labored, his expression dazed. Every exchange left him shaken. The swagger that once filled press conferences had vanished, replaced by a grim look of survival. The crowd could feel it. The commentators could see it. The fight was slipping away, second by second. And as the 7th round approached, there was only one question left. Could Rolly Romero survive the storm? Or would Cruz finally close the show? What happened next gave everyone their answer, and ended the fight in unforgettable fashion. By the time round 7 began, the writing was on the wall. Rolly Romero's punches had lost their snap. His legs looked heavy, and his eyes, once filled with arrogance, now told a story of survival. Across the ring, Isaac Pitbull Cruz was locked in, breathing steady, eyes cold, waiting for the moment to end it. Cruz stalked him down, cutting off every angle, hammering the body before snapping uppercuts through Raleigh's guard. The sound of each shot drew gasps from the crowd, only grew sharper with each exchange. Then it happened. A brutal left hook to the chin, followed by a right hand that nearly folded Romero in half. He staggered to the ropes, trying to stay upright, but his body betrayed him. Cruz didn't hesitate. He unloaded. Hook, hook, uppercut, another right. Rolly was upright, but his legs were gone. His head snapped back, his arms limp. The referee saw it and stepped in. It was over. The crowd exploded. Pitbull Cruz had done it. No knockdown was needed. He had beaten the fight out of the champion. In that instant, Isaac Cruz became the new WBA super lightweight champion of the world. His corner rushed in, hoisting him high as the Mexican flag waved across the arena. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Years of being labeled too short, too limited, too small, erased in one ruthless performance. Across the ring, Rolly Romero stood dazed, trying to process what had just happened. The showman, the talker, the self-proclaimed king, silenced by the man he once mocked. And in that silence, one truth echoed louder than any punch that night. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned. But Cruz's story didn't end there, because what came after this victory would change his career forever. The moment Isaac Pitbull Cruz's hand was raised, the boxing world erupted. Social media lit up with clips of the knockout flurry, fans chanting, "Pitbull, Pitbull," across timelines. Mexico celebrated their new champion, and analysts couldn't stop talking about how Cruz had just bulldozed a man many believed was too big, too strong, and too confident to lose. For Cruz, this victory wasn't just about a title. It was vindication. Years of being the underdog, of hearing he was too short for 140, were finally silenced. The kid who once fought in small gyms in Mexico City had now conquered Las Vegas, claiming his first full world championship. He had gone from being known as the man who almost beat Gervonta Davis to being the man who broke Rolly Romero. Meanwhile, Romero faced a different kind of fight, the one outside the ring. Critics tore him apart for the endless trash talk that led nowhere. Memes flooded the internet. Even some fans who once cheered for him began questioning whether Rolly was built more for microphones than for the spotlight of true championship boxing. But the loss hit deeper than embarrassment. It was a reminder of what happens when pride becomes louder than preparation. Romero's future became uncertain. Would he rebuild or fade into the background as another loudmouth who couldn't deliver when it mattered? For Cruz, however, the future was wide open. With his name now on the list of world champions, new doors swung open. Potential clashes with big names at 140, fresh rivalries, and the promise of redemption White's fans had been begging to see. The Pitbull had arrived, and he wasn't leaving the yard anytime soon. Still, beneath all the cheers and headlines, one question remained. Was this the night Cruz became a legend, or just the beginning of something even bigger?
Look, Romero takes the shot, still standing, referee intervenes! Mamma mia! He saw Cruz!
When the dust settled in Las Vegas, the story was bigger than just a title change. It was a lesson, one written in blood, sweat, and humility.
Takes the shot, still standing, referee!
Rolando Romero walked in believing words could win wars. Isaac Pitbull Cruz walked in, believing that actions would speak louder. And that night, every punch Cruz threw shouted one undeniable truth. Real fighters don't bark, they bite. Cruz's victory was more than a win. It was a statement that grit, patience, and heart will always outlast arrogance.
He saw Cruz, a new 140-pound champ!
From the streets of Mexico City to the bright lights of Las Vegas, he proved that discipline beats ego every single time.
Romero's on inline skate!
And for Romero, it was a reality check. The kind that either breaks a fighter or forces them to rebuild stronger than ever. But for fans, this fight was unforgettable. A modern reminder of why we love boxing. It wasn't just about the punches. It was about pride, redemption, and the price of underestimating someone hungry enough to take everything from you. So the next time someone calls Isaac Cruz a chihuahua, remember what happened when the cage door opened. The Pitbull didn't bark. He dominated. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because we've got more stories, more fights, and more moments that changed boxing forever. Until next time, stay tuned, stay sharp, and never underestimate the underdog.
Pitbull Cruz!